Hello, y'all. Oh my gosh, the energy already is you know what? I think that it might be that retrograde energy. Here's the thing is like I always want to say I'm like I don't subscribe to that. I don't believe that. And then it's like every retrograde ever seems to be as though time stands still. Something occurs that is some sort of lesson where everything kind of moves backwards a moment. And I feel like there's always a lesson in this space. And so what I thought would be an interesting reading would be what is the lesson coming into the retrograde. Now, I feel like I am going to be as mindful as possible in how I communicate things, because I do know that I can kind of deliver things a certain way, and it's not intentionally. God decided, when, it's like, what is that phrase, like sugar and spice and everything nice, whatever, for little girls, right? So when God made me, he was like, so we're just gonna like get rid of the filtration system on this one at some point in her life. Like she's gonna go from where she just doesn't stand up for herself to where she should probably consider before she speaks. And I don't have a filtration system. You know how some people really think hard? I think they do anyway. I don't know. I don't personally resonate with this at all. But apparently there are people who think before they speak, and I am just really not one of those people. So it's been difficult for me to slow down at times in order to read, because I feel like everything comes in at some point as a channel, or it takes a second to get into it. So I went into this with the intention to deliver messages mindfully so that I'm not losing you in the message, but also want to kind of give a disclaimer that I am someone who delivers energy exactly how it feels, however it is I'm tapping into it. And I know that for some reason there is a collective that not for some reason, let me back that up. I fully understand why there is a collective that I connect with and resonate with, that has the life path that they do and has been through the things that they have, and has had certain energies around them, because I have also been in that at some point in my life and within my timeline. So, and I am, I think that every reader goes through things, and in order to really deliver a message from that energy, you have to kind of have gone through it and been through it to connect in with it energetically. In my opinion, anyway, I think that's more so how empathy works. I know that there's an entire system that tells us how things work. But for me, I feel like empathy is something that you feel through a shared experience or a shared emotion. And sympathy is more so not really having ever felt that emotion, but can offer sentiments for it. The other is really just a different space. So anyway, I thought that it would be an interesting reading to do. What are you intended to learn in this retrograde? And I think it would be cool for us to kind of come back to this at the end of the retrograde and see if maybe anything came true. I would not consider myself a fortune teller, but maybe I am and I don't know it. All right, y'all, so let's go ahead and get into this. Then we have group 1 and group 2 and group 3. Y'all, hello group 1. You guys have to look up the song. It's a song by Disturbed, The Sound of Silence, but it's the Cyril. I think it's, I might be saying that wrong, and I'm sorry. Remix. As soon as you Google, like, as soon as you enter it into YouTube, you'll find it has like 83 million views. That song is stuck in my head. And when I pulled out this, it's like, that was the song that popped into my head. So if that resonates with you, maybe go look at it. Okay, let's see what you are intended to learn in the retrograde. I think I'm going to choose the Pulp Tarot for you. And we might clarify with Standard Tarot. How you doing, Group 1? I do feel, Group 1, with the Heart card. This card, I feel, has a guard around the heart. You know, because when you look at the card, there's all this kind of surrounding the card. And what's interesting, actually, about this card is it reminds me of the Underworld, which is the second card in the reading today. I'll show you real quick. Because of all that around it, it's like you have to go through that to get to this heart space. And so I feel like something that you're learning is to open up your heart chakra. This could have been a really closed space for you for some time. I need music. That song is just stuck in my head. I don't know if music is so therapeutic. You know what? Really quick before we get into this, I notice that my energy seems to have something to do with the music that pops on. It's like I'll just hit play so that any random song can come up. And I notice if I'm cleaning or I'm doing something and I begin dwelling or I begin thinking, I suddenly, the music begins to shift. So energy is really interesting. I was thinking about this the other day with algorithms and how I thought, wouldn't it be interesting if there has to be a system in some place that knows the truth. You know, like, do you believe that? I don't know. This is getting weird. Where are we going here in Group 1? Because I was thinking about this and I was like, what if our energy really is connected to the algorithms? Do you ever have a low moment and it's like everything up in your feed is feeling that way? Or just like tarot, you know, it's like, how is that programmed to you? Because it's energy. There's so many readers on YouTube, realistically. And here you are and you're tapping into this reading and you're tapping into it energetically. And so there's some kind of message here in this. Oh, this is weird. When I was 16, I saw, like, the first time that I saw a vision, and it was like an elderly person's hands, and they were writing like they had a message. And way later in life, I remember it was sort of downloaded to me, like, I have a message, and it came through like someone writing down on a piece of paper is like, there's a message in this. And so I think something about what is existing in your space has something to do with energy and really understanding energy, understanding that if I want to feel a certain way, I must give out how I wish to feel, and to disconnect yourself from things that maybe make you feel anxious. I just noticed too that, what? I must have shuffled. Y'all, okay, that was weird. I was going to tell you that on the bottom of the deck was the 8 of Cups, which is walking away from that which no longer serves us and moving into a space that would connect you into that wish fulfillment energy and the 9 of Cups and 10 of Cups energy. And I must have, just now, when I was talking to you, shuffled, and the Empress is now on the bottom, but I did not realize that I did that. So I was fully anticipating bringing out the Eight of Cups. I'm going to bring the Empress out actually onto the board. Let's put her out there. I have felt pretty strongly in this space for you, Group 1, that you are intended to really connect in with yourself, and that this is really a moment it's like there's something unfinished about this journey that you have with yourself. All right, let's get into this. I was kind of ignoring that energy a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. I was feeling like kind of sad, I guess. I don't know if sad is the right, is the correct word. It's just feeling a little bit fed up, I think. Also, I'm invited to be like, this isn't looming either. This fed up, I think you handle it actually really well. And so your energy that is in this space, it is kind of like this like sad, how do I explain this? This energy here, this Three of Swords energy, it sits beneath the surface of something that you're going through, but it's like you're kind of on a path right now where you have done a lot of work already. And so you've already worked through some of those, I would say, some of the massive things that you would maybe need to work on in a journey through enlightenment or a journey through healing. And so it's kind of like, it's not super heavy. It's not something that is weighing you down to the point that you cannot move forward. So it's being presented a bit like the ball and chain is like something that you are now at this point where we're at right here. It's like that ball and chain, which I don't think it's necessarily connected to another person. It's like connected to your feelings in a way. That weight that is connected to you, where you're at now and on the journey that you're at in this moment, that weight that is connected to you is self-imposed. Because it's kind of moving from this space in which you can kind of see all angles of a situation. And because of that, I think that maybe you do tend to fall into line with, you could have bouts of anxiety or feeling where these feelings that existed that you have actually worked through kind of can come to the surface still. And oftentimes it is surrounding sort of a dwelling energy or an overthinking energy. And that's really when you trip yourself up. It's kind of like self-fulfilling prophecies. It's something that is something that has been coming up. It's like, I think I've used that phrase more than I've used that phrase in my lifetime in the last 3 readings. So a self-sabotaging space. There is something that you are working on that it's like, they're kind of just like, get on with it. You know, it's like, they're like, I feel like for you in this space, it's not that you don't know really what you need to do in this situation. And because this is such a broad collective of people, or it could potentially be, this could be any kind of scenario. And also it could be every scenario. It could be that we kind of decide, you know, if something begins to feel good, then it's like, oh, why does that feel good? Oh, that's not going to last. This, because I've had this most consistent experience. And so, this is feeling good. Then we're going to back off. We're not going to feel that. We're done. And so, which is interesting because that's your message here. This lesson is about opening up your heart space. So it would make sense that, rather than kind of jumping into things or moving forward or taking risks in certain areas where you might face, you know, the possibility of repeating something that you are certain you do not want to repeat, it could be that you could miss opportunities as well by not taking any risks at all, or not, you know, just kind of staying in this, well, in your wicker throne. She's like, here I am. I think it's interesting these stars are over her head as well. She's just in her power here. And I am noticing here there's that wand there. This is Empress is really earth energy too, by the way, very grounded. And I would consider earth energy pretty analytical. And good manifestors too. So here's this wand here, okay? And I think that's something, it's like she's sitting there with her wand, but in this face, it's like that wand becomes that chain, you know, attached to her ankle. And then suddenly it's like we're in this space where it's like being in, it's not, why, brain? My brain thinks that it needs to be funny right now. I don't know why, but it's showing Atreyu in the darn sadness or whatever it is, the sinking sand with Artax, and he's trying to pull him out of the quicksand, and he just stands there and he's like, Artax, please. Super lovely analogy for a tarot reading. Thank you. But yeah, so it's kind of like moving through quicksand, but not, you know, there's some kind of, something is stuck on repeat. Okay, it's showing like a record player skipping. This is so old school. Like, how many people are gonna know these analogies? I am really showing my age, and I'm not even of the record player age. I just have a weird brain. But that's what's showing, is that there's something here, and it is like, hello. It's kind of just calling you calling this to your attention, and I think that you'll know what it is. And it's like, just do it. Just take. It's kind of like baby steps are better than no steps at all. Okay, what else do we have? If you like techno-y type remixes, you should definitely go check out that song. I don't know if it's your vibe or not, but I'm obsessed with that song right now. I like to dance. I dance with my... Okay, anyway. There is that 5 of Pentacles. It's so interesting because see how like this is she's protecting something, and there's something right behind her, right in this card. It's like right in the shadow. And then there's 5 of Pentacles. It's so interesting because see how like this is she's protecting something, and there's something right behind her, right? In this card. It's like right in the shadow. in my shadow. Some kind of conflict, something that is just there, and it's like, you know, it's there. It is this like looming thing. It's kind of like being in a space of, how do I want to explain this? It's like having checked off all the boxes, and then there's this big red box or something that is right on your list that is very important, but it's difficult in some capacity, or it's something that you struggle with. And then it's right there. And it's like, if you just checked off this one box and took care of this thing, whatever this thing is, that's kind of always there, that's looming over you. It is the reason for a lot. If you are able to zoom out, okay, it's like you're able, it's showing like a pin on a map, okay, as in this is the pinpoint issue, and then everything else moves around this issue. And so like if you've had issues within these spaces, it's because of this issue. If you've had issues over here, it's because of this issue. It's reminding me a lot of self-doubt, okay? And so, and self-doubt is a big one. And in fact, I think self-doubt would be something that we as a collective of one, as in all people, would arguably impact a lot of everything, right? And so it's whatever it is that you're doubting. It is that thing. And it's like, it's impacting this heart space, because it's projecting a little bit from a space of how it's like how we feel inside, and how much love you're really giving to yourself, okay? And then that's sort of being, it's coming up to the surface in all these spaces. Remember I said that it's like, it feels good, and then it's like, I'm going to question this into an oblivion. Why does this feel good? Or this person cannot possibly like me, or this scenario, or this person's behaving this way because of this. And then kind of just, you know, again, that's that earth energy, just analyzing everything into the space that then it's like we're not doing anything. And so you are being called to do something, you know, to take some sort of action in this moment. This is bothering me. Okay. Maybe you are intended to get balanced, because I was in the middle of talking about that, and I don't even remember the last bit of the last sentence that I said, because I noticed that heart card was off balance, and it could not stay there. That is just, we're not doing that. Okay. Knight of Pentacles is on the bottom of the deck. So this could be surrounding someone, kind of offering you something that feels like a space of abundance, something that means something to you. This could be then kind of bringing up all of these surfaces, especially in the heart space, because of, you know, maybe previous situations. And so there could be someone who is presenting, or offer is being presented. You know, there's a bunch of people in this Five of Wands energy as well. There's also that option card here with the Seven of Pentacles. But, you know, it's like they're coming in, they're very solid seeming offers, but it's putting you into this hermit space where you're like, yeah, I got work to do. and I think that's actually not necessarily wrong, but it's also kind of being in this space of like, we have to get into an energy in which we are loving ourselves through every moment, regardless of, oh, thanks for that little lesson, or regardless of our perfectionism. Thanks. Haha, you're funny. Did you like how that just came through? It was like, oh, we're gonna have her put that little card right where it goes, and then tell her that the world is in perfect place. Okay, super cute. Okay, what else? Okay. Yeah, I think that this is interesting. I feel like this is two people. It's like one's you, One's the other person. Okay, so again, there could be an energy that is in your, that has an Emperor vibe. Hold on, I'm gonna make sure that you can see these. Oh, psh, look at me. So yeah, this could be surrounding even Emperor-like energy, just as is an all-encompassing. It doesn't really have to be just one person or a counterpart. But for some of you, yeah, I think it is maybe an energy that feels like a counterpart, and it's, you know, you're here, you are in this space. And also, I am called to kind of invite you to do a little bit more of a comparative analysis, and also put yourself in a space or a position where you can kind of look at it from a more objective standpoint, where you're looking back at the things that you have been through to get to here, and you're able to really analyze that in a way that really honors the journey that you took to get here, and especially any kind of awareness that was built in that space and in that environment because of who you are today, because of those situations, and because of how you worked through those. It's kind of inviting you to see how far you've come and to discontinue being the person standing in front of your way, because you are in this energy. And I would argue that all of us have the potential to be in this energy. I don't think that there is a superiority complex when it comes to the ability for a human to, I'm going to be so cheesy here, but rewrite their stars, like A Knight's Tale, right? It just takes humility and accountability. And if you have those two things, group one, you're in such a microscopic space already. Oftentimes we end up in these spaces within connections because it's like we are so accountable or so willing to you know, assess our own self and understand our flaws, and or sometimes we're not, and then we have to learn the lessons as well. But building upon accountability and humility, humbling, having that as a characteristic trait in your repertoire, I feel like that puts you in a space that is really more rare than I think that you'd be willing to accept, because oftentimes it seems like the most common scenario is that many people are not communicating, and in fact are avoiding communication for any number of reasons. For well, it's fear at its, you know, at its core, right? So it's fear of rejection, and it's fear of conflict, or it's fear of, I mean, it's just fear. So understanding that, well, just that, being able to understand, seeing yourself as how do I put this? Being able to hold yourself accountable is like already you're in a pretty comfortable zone, okay? Now, one thing I think that we do need to be mindful of when we are accountable, and we are very accountable, is not doing all the accountability work for others. You know, we have to give them the space to also be accountable, right? So all of this seems to be laced into the lesson that you are intended to learn in this space. I'm going to get you, let's see. I want to do like a parting, maybe like an oracle card. Here, let's do the Starseed Oracle. Ooh, hello, Starseed Oracle. I haven't played with this deck in a little while. Okay, let's do one more message here for group 1, please. Every time that I get into shuffle, that song comes into my head. I don't know if it's connected at all to your reading, or it's just that the song is just stuck in my head. And again, it's Disturb Sound of Silence, the Cyril remix, Cyril, okay. Anyway, oofda, okay. I just oofded. Hello, Minnesotans. I don't live in Minnesota anymore, but I used to. Weight of the world. We're still going to be our little perfectionist, okay? Okay. Weight of the world. Boundaries is the first word here. Let it go. It's not yours to carry. Yeah, I do think that that is just really interesting. That's reminiscent of that ball and chain kind of thing, right? There is something that it's like a pattern of behavior, or even a, I mean, honestly, collective one, I feel like it could be, it could be so many things that exist in that space of letting go, and you're going to know kind of what it is. And I think if you really zoom out on it, you might see that it's really at its core the same energy, just in different situations and scenarios. But at the, it's, you know, just like how I just explained how fear is like all of these things or whatever. So this is another one too. And I think it's, well, if you resonate into this collective pretty often, I tend to also sit in this space, and I connect in the present moment probably the most with this collective. And it could be talking about a savior complex and wanting to sort of, I don't know, change the world, fix the world, but kind of understanding that in order to do that, we must kind of be willing to get right in one department. And also understand that, here's the thing, is that people who want to be helped seek help. That's how we learn. That's how we grow. That's how we heal. That's how we move through things, is because we made that choice for ourselves. We do not have the ability to make that choice for anybody else. We have to accept people where they're at and adjust accordingly. And that's a hard pill to swallow sometimes, because you can really want a different outcome, right? And maybe have even imagined a different outcome. And unfortunately, it's like this expectation space can be a very disappointing space, when the way I see it, it's like, okay, I'm going to put this down here. It's like, you could be up here. Okay. This is you here. And then you have this person who's down here. Okay. And you're just like, come on, come up to me, come up to me, come up to me, come up to me. Right. And they just won't. And sometimes they even go here, and you're like, hello, come here, come up to me, come up to my level. Right. And I think this is just inviting you, just like, stand up and walk away. And if this other energy wants to come into alignment with you, they will. That's just how it works, right? And more importantly, collective one, is that all the time that you spend down here just trying, you know, and oftentimes it is because there's this, hold up, here we are. What are we doing? We're just playing now. Because here, over here, this is an abundant energy, right? This is the thing that you need to work on, okay? It's up here, right? This is the thing, this like big old stone that is your thing to work on. And instead you're trying to work on this person or this thing or this other thing that's not connected to you, this burden that is somebody else's to carry. And then you're so far away from your goal here because you're constantly looking here and your goal's right there. And it's just out of reach from you too, look. And so if you just quit worrying about these energies and then put that effort into you, into the things that you need in this abundance, then you'll be able to stand here. And it'll be from a space of, you know, essentially being that savior for yourself. All right, collective one, if this resonated with you, please leave me a comment down below. I love reading your comments. They mean so much to me. If you really enjoyed this reading and you would like to come back for future readings, please like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for being here, collective one. Enjoy your day. Where is my water? Group 2. Hello, group 2. How y'all doing? I think for you, we're going to go standard rider weight for your message. Oh, my group 2 collective. Honestly, I don't really feel in this moment, group 2, that your energy is, I think you have kind of worked through something or are working through something, and the energy now is like something that you didn't previously see in a situation or scenario has been presented to you. Excuse me. Maybe it was communicated to you. And now it's kind of like you're just seeing it all for the first time, or you're seeing it all. It's like everything that was underneath the surface in some space or even in itself is now coming to the surface, and it's in alignment with you to be able to dissect and look at from a more aware space, where you're looking at this thing from a more all-encompassing reality. And it's sort of kind of clearing out the muck a little bit, right? It is, hold on, I have to adjust. Why did I do this before whenever I get into your energy, everything must be copacetic. It's gotta feel good. It's like, if it's not, you know, maybe you're in a space of just honoring yourself a little bit. Hang on, let me just get all in a, okay, now that we are in crisscross applesauce position. I don't know what we can't call it what we used to call it back in my day anymore. Anyway, now that I'm back into comfort, I swear, I'm so sorry, y'all. It's like every time I even sit there for a second and I mindfully think about this collective, and it's like, so the way that I think that transfers energetically is that there are things that maybe that have came to the surface that we really don't necessarily, they're not comfortable, we don't want to deal with them, but it's like they're so present now, and they're so in your face that it's like you don't really have a choice. You kind of have to, now it's like, oh, okay, now we have to really dissect this a bit more and see what it is that we are intended to learn in this moment. and really see it for what it is. And I think in some ways this is like, you know, there could have been something that just you didn't know about a situation or a scenario, and now you know. And this can be, remember, you're in a collective, so it's not just one of you. So this could be a situation with a person or people. This could be something about yourself, like something that you built into awareness within self. Oof. I think one of the most interesting parts of going through a journey in sort of mending wounds that we have, or things that we have been through, is understanding our role in those spaces and the why, and why we were in those situations, the things that we had to work on within self because we were in those situations, and then also seeing how we also behave in the way that is projected onto us in other situations. And it's like, it's just it's a mind fuck. Okay, all right. What is the lesson intended for this retrograde for collective 2, please? The lesson here. Is that upside down? Yeah, I do think so. I think this, whatever this is, kind of turns, it did kind of turn your world upside down a little bit. Has a little bit of imbalance. You may, okay, this is so weird. I don't know why this popped in right now, but aromatherapy, it's like I just became very like sensually aware of things that really comfort me. And so you could be in a space of just needing to seek comfort a little bit. I'm gonna check something here. Just before I was doing your reading, I was looking through to make sure that they were all upright. I just want to make sure I didn't put it upside down. You're holding on to something, or you have been holding on to something. I think this is more about something that you were holding on to, an idea, a belief system, a situation or a scenario with another person is now in sort of question. And it really, what is in question seems to be the imbalance in that scenario. And the interesting thing for you, Collective 2, is that for some of you, it is what you are doing was the imbalance. And then for others of you, it is what your person or the situation or the scenario that you were in, there was an imbalance where you were overgiving into that space. Okay. And this just needs to come into a balance. It needs to be seen from a new perspective. Right now, we're just hanging on to an idea of something. I don't think it's kind of, well, it does kind of present like an idea of how things should be. I don't know why this analogy just came through, but it was like a ruler on so way back, my analogies recently, y'all, have been like so old school. I don't know what is going on. But way back when children would disobey, they would smack them on the hand with a ruler. And actually, they did this too. This is interesting because if you were left-handed in like I don't even know what time, it would have been just early, maybe like the 50s. Someone can correct me on this because I don't know how long this lasted for realistically. But it could have even still been present in the 60s, honestly. Where if you were writing with your left hand, they would slap you with a ruler. And then you had to learn and be conditioned to write with your right hand, even though you could have been naturally left-handed. So this situation is like, it's like something is presenting in the opposite way of how you anticipated it or how you had seen it. And now it's like this information is sort of coming in, and it's like wanting to hold on to a belief system or a just, it is, again, it's like this space of like, this is how things should be, but you're being shown that well, that's just not how it is in whatever it is going on in this situation. It's like, and I think that it's been just really just having a real tight grip on not wanting to see it in a different way than how it is actually. And so what I think that is coming in this space is, I do feel like you're in sort of a pause in life a little bit, where it's almost as though that this whole situation here and everything that's come to the surface, I do think it's something that you have some time in this space to really dissect more. So I don't think it's going to be like tomorrow you have this whole situation figured out. I think though it's like you are kind of being presented to consider how much of a space of innocence that you've been operating from, you know, organically, or just like how, when's the last time that you, it's like if you're an artist, like when's the last time that you painted a picture, or just, I feel that just for a second here, you know, I used to draw every day of my life. I had a sketchbook with me all the time. And then when I became a mother and I started working and I, you know, started running a business and all of these things, like you would never know that I used to be someone who was drawing a lot, you know, people, really. And just imagine like if I had continued doing that, where I would be in art, but I just put it down because even though it was such a prominent part of my life, I had been drawing since since I could pick up a pencil. And then I just put it down, and you know, haven't gone back to it. And it's kind of that, something like that, you know, something that maybe, you know, dreams or aspirations or goals or things that you really wanted for yourself that kind of got put on the back burner. It's almost like in this space of creating and new ideas is kind of where you're going to have build into understanding what it is over here that you are intended to let go of. I really hope that makes sense. What else? Yeah, this is really, it's a pause, right? And so I have felt that the retrograde space is a space where time sort of stands still, but it kind of moves backwards. So some of the stuff that is surfacing here in this area could be situations that you went through in the past. And arguably you have a lot of like energy calling you to remind you of your innocence in a sense. Really? That was cute. We just did like what is that called? A double entendre or whatever? How, you know, when an innocence in a sense. Look at us. Look at us being creative. Everybody's so creative. I think we were intended to break up the energy a little bit. I do feel like this collective might kind of be a collective that maybe it sometimes uses humor to get themselves out of like, okay, this is a deeper conversation, or kind of pushes some of that, you know, those heavier things to the side. But through doing this, okay, then this is where you build into this is, first of all, I think I am being invited to inform you that this is contingent upon, like, this path right here that you're on in this moment. This trajectory is contingent upon you doing the thing, you know, bringing some element into to help you mend something that maybe has been kind of beneath the surface. Okay. Because doing this and going into this pause and having this space for yourself, that's how you kind of move into a space of you know, equal give and take, and having meaningful connections with others, and being also in this this more wish fulfillment space where all of this is going to teach you something that then you can end up utilizing in some way moving forward, specifically within, you know, connections or spaces in which you're dealing with people. And I think too, you are also being advised here to utilize your intuition. I don't really see the Two of Swords, just in my personal opinion, I don't find it to be a super indecisive card. That's the way it's always kind of presented. And I mean, it is Libra energy, so let's not negate that. Libra energy is relatively indecisive, so it's, you know, that is understandable in this card. But for me, and how I tend to see it is, you know, her kind of sitting in this, and really she has a blindfold on, and she is moving into her intuition, and then kind of moving forward. And this could talk a little bit too as like a disconnect with our emotional body, or a disconnect with self. And really understanding, you know, for some of you, it could be that you have just had this for a lot of years, or even a short period of time, where, or just a period of time, okay, where it's like day in and day out, it's like the same, it's like Groundhog Day kind of, right? And I think that you're kind of being invited to bring a little bit more vitality into that. Something I'm being sort of reminded of is the underworld this is sort of like, you know, it's not like a whole lot of greenery and a whole lot of flowers in bloom, and you know, so it's kind of like a water your garden kind of vibe in this space as well. All right, let me give you one last message card before we close out your reading. I just got this song. If I could tell the world just one thing, it would be we're all okay. And not to worry, because worry is wasteful and useless in times like these. I won't be made useless. It's called Hands by Jewel. It was interesting because for some reason I thought of months ago, there was someone that would pop into my readings that just would kind of communicate with me a little bit pessimistically. And they said to me one time, you can't save the world. And I just thought about that in this group 2 space, because I feel like you know, that I really want to reach you, and that I hope that I know that the group 2 space the other day was not easy, and it was like uncomfortable for me as well. But it's like, I feel like, I don't know, if even one person watching this reading moved, you know, something just kind of became the catalyst for them choosing themselves and moving forward, or something hit in this and it just, you know, created that snowball for them, that would be amazing, in my opinion. And so that's exactly how you save the world. Just so that we know, is if you think about the fact that we're all connected as one, then the more of us that are in a good vibration, the more healing there is, the more love there is. I'm just going to take out Portal because it was on top. I was trying to get one. Getting one out of this deck is not easy. And some people do see that, the retrograde, as a portal, you know. But it's kind of like... It's kind of like being in like a bow, okay? And there's, and you're the arrow, essentially. Life is pulling you back, and there's a whole lot of tension in that pullback, right? And then once there's like a release, where that tension is sort of, you know, that release, that letting go, it catapults you forward. And that is essentially how I see learning really important things in life as well. So hopefully this resonates with you, Collective 2. Thank you so much for being here with me. If you feel so inclined, something that really helps my channel is when you like a video. And what helps it even more is if you like and also comment. And then if you're new here and this resonated with you and you would like to see more readings from me, what would help as well is if you subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for being here, Group 2. Enjoy the rest of your day. Here we go. We're in Group 3's energy, and already we have ain't no mountain high, ain't no valley low. Hello, Group 3. What's up? I feel like y'all are like the OGs in some way. I don't know how that, like, it's like, I know I said this earlier in a reading, but I just want to say, like, when I say that, what I mean is that I feel like this is not your first rodeo here. I don't know why that is. It's like there is, here's the thing about this mountain that you have in front of you, Collective 3. I think it's just, that's how you see it. I don't think it's as big of a mountain to climb as you think it is. I think that you have been looking at it from you know, it's weird because normally we would really not invite you to put on some rose-colored glasses, but I feel like whatever the antithesis of that is, that's kind of how it's like, just a little bit of anxiousness, okay? Seeing this thing in front of you and going, oh my goodness. It's like there you are inside the mountain. Kind of going, I can't even see the mountain. It's like, and what's funny about it is that, you know, a lot of people would just climb through the mountain. But you're already in a space that you could just walk right through it. You know what I mean? Like, just get a chisel out. Because you're already in the center of the mountain. So realistically, you just make your way to the other side, right? And perhaps it's inviting you to go about this situation or scenario in a little bit of an unorthodox way. You know, the path less taken, walk a little bit off the beaten path. Because, again, like, there are a lot of people that would kind of backtrack through this, come out, look at the mountain, come all the way back out here, and you're already here inside the peak, right? They'd come all the way back out here and then figure out how the hell to climb over that mountain instead of just going through it. Which could be reminiscent of feelings. It could be reminiscent of, what is that phrase? How does that go? You grow through what you go through, baby. Okay. Two of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck that just popped in. What are you learning in this retrograde? Well, you're putting something down, because that's the first card that's fallen on the floor the entire time that I've been doing readings. Oh, interesting. How funny. The Six of Swords in traditional tarot is the man in the boat rowing away from things, and it is reminiscent of like putting something behind you. So it's really funny that this in particular card ended up on the floor. Synchronicities, I swear. All right. What else for group 3? What are they learning in this retrograde? You know, I do tend to find that in this space, it's a little bit more of a stubborn space. It's like, I don't want to talk about that. Here we go. Consistently, there is something that has gone on within a connection, okay? There's some sort of remorse, some sort of guilt, some sort of, it's like, for the, this Five of Cups has come up in your energy so much. It's like, I feel like you see this mountain in front of you and you're like, I just don't want to do it. I don't want to have that conversation. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to go through this. And it's like, just do it. Okay. Because I think you feel regret about something in this connection, but everything else around the connection is telling you, like, what is it? Like, it's not something that is so major that, because look at this. There's the Queen of Cups and the King of Wands. Now, I will say the King of Wands kind of presents in a little bit of a player energy, okay? So we're just going to talk about that for a second, okay? They come in really passionately, and but they're no, this is the King of Wands. Hold up, I saw that differently for a second. But okay, so he's really passionate. He's really straightforward, really sensual, really fiery. And then you have the Queen of Cups. And what's interesting is, like, she kind of puts out his fire, okay, a little bit, and he maybe lights her fire, you know, come on baby, light my fire. And you know, she's really emotional. She's really emotionally immature and willing to give her love. And not only that, she's doing it from a space, it's that she's just loving this King of Wands through whatever it is that he's going through whatever it is that he is you know, has going on in his life, or this kind of quick burn energy, right? But between the two of you, there is something. This Five of Cups consistently comes up. It's at this point, it's like put itself in the center of the read. Like, I said what I said. This Five of Cups is coming into this reading that's like, excuse me, we're gonna stop neglecting this. So there's some semblance of grief. There's some semblance of, it's like regret, though. It's more so coming through as regret. And considering that this is you tapping into this reading, I feel like this is regret that you have around this connection. Some kind of regret that you have in regards to this connection. But everything is telling you that it's like, again, it's like you see this as this like massive undertaking, this thing that is so big that you're going to have to go through. And it's like, it's very simple. And I think what it is really is like to provide some sort of emotion in this situation, whatever it is. Because for some reason I'm called to see like the Four of Cups card, which is a card coming in like out of left field basically, and this person being just so focused on all of this and they're not seeing everything that's abundant in front of them or what they have in a certain space to be grateful for, and they're just over here looking at this or giving this attention and not really giving this other thing attention. So it might be connected to that. That's the card that comes before the Five of Cups, and so it could be connected to something like that. Is like having some regret over that sort of behavior in this connection. Not really giving this maybe the attention that it deserved. But also it just feels like such a minor hiccup. Okay. Yeah, there's just a lot of passion in this energy. And I think that you two operate, it's like the yin and yang symbol, okay? It's like when one person is like, I don't know how to explain it. Like one person's really maybe outgoing or introverted, and the other is very outgoing or introverted, or extroverted, and the other one's really introverted, or one is very comfortable in a certain space that the other is not comfortable in. But then when you flip them, it's like the other one's comfortable in something that the other one is not. And it's like I think that you don't see really in this connection is that it's like the ways in which you could really build together and work together, and the passion that you could build for this. Now all of a sudden this connection, whereas it was, I think you're getting yourself tripped up a little bit with some doubt here. And what's interesting is that it's like you don't trust how you feel about the connection. And then there comes in all of this stuff that's like, no, this could go wrong. This could go wrong. It's like, you may connect in with group one, okay? Because it comes through as like a self-fulfilling prophecy, or a self-sabotaging in a way, where it's like deciding that something within this is just, no. It's like, but it's kind of bringing in whataboutism. What about this? What about that? What about this? And maybe you're an earth sign, because earth signs, we're very analytical people. You know, so maybe you connect into Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, you know, one of those more really analyzing energies, or have that somewhere in your chart. That's a possibility as well. And again, like here I am, I'm mentioning zodiacs for the first time the entire time I've been reading in this space. So, I mean, there could be some sort of innately or intrinsically about connected to that in some way. But this is like kind of, it's like this space needs a passionate new beginning, okay? And there is some heartbreak that is in it. And there's some, here's the thing, okay? It's like over here, this Queen of Cups energy. I think this is the person who felt the brunt of this connection, this Queen of Cups energy here, just with this kind of sitting in her side. This situation was it probably didn't go the way that she had anticipated, being that she's moving from a space of like giving her, you know, it's a cup of love, and she's the Queen of Cups at that. And then you have over here, it's like, it's also like she kind of just like moved on from this in some way, or she's like just letting it go. With the Six of Swords energy, swords are a lot in here. So we have a lot of mind going on here, communication barriers going on in this connection as well. And then over here, this is where the conflict is a little bit more on this side with this energy. I think that this is, the Five of Swords is arguably one of the most conflict-inducing cards in the tarot. And so on this side, then you have that King of Wands energy, where this is where the sort of, you know, being that he is in this sort of, no matter how a masculine represents in a heterosexual relationship. In my personal perspective, they do lead a lot of the emotions, because reassurance is something that the feminine really needs to kind of feel, to soften into then leading through the emotional body, where he'll kind of take action then, right? And so I think that this King of Wands energy, it's like maybe needed to take more action, or needed to be even more communicative in some capacity. This and now is in sort of like a conflict. It's like, I think they're kind of just understanding that they might have had a little bit more to do with this conflict than they had initially realized. And now it's like, so I do kind of feel like the person in this connection that really has like, is kind of feeling maybe the brunt of the regret. And actually, let me back that up. I think that both of them are. Okay, I think both have sort of their own elements of regret in this situation, because it is kind of coming out like it takes two to tango, it takes two to tango. And so I don't think it's just necessarily like one-sided. I don't want to put all of the blame over here on this like King of Wands energy here. But I do think that's how the King of Wands is currently seeing and viewing the situation, is sort of seeing like, oh, oops, like I might have made this a little bit worse than it needed to be, and wants to have this like passionate new beginning. And I think that they are seeing this connection in this space as the Four of Wands, and in this space as the, you know, having the World. I think that now, I didn't explain this card. I'm sorry. Sometimes I just assume that you just know tarot with me. This is the Four of Wands. And the Four of Wands is typically like the, I mean, it's been worded so many things, but it's a union card. And it is seen as sort of, it could be like a marriage card. It can be a twin flame card. It's kind of all in those spaces. And I say, sorry, don't allow me to like kind of interject my individual perspective on twin flames. Is like, it's like part of me is like, maybe it exists. And then another part of me is like, I don't even know how to slice that whole theory, because I do think that there are a lot of, unfortunately, there are also a lot of people that mistake what I would consider emotional abuse as twin flame energy. And so I think that's a very delicate space to go in, is like, if someone's hurting you, I would say that that would not fall in alignment with a twin flame energy. Okay. And I mean like really hurting you, like betrayal is you know, something they betrayed you in some way. I don't necessarily feel like that's what's going on in this connection. I just feel like it's something that really maybe didn't get off the ground with this World card. And then the new beginning here is like, and then feeling like there's just a lot to kind of go through in this. It's like, I think that you haven't actually had those conversations and those things that would really build upon a connection and allow it to blossom naturally, because, I mean, arguably probably because of some things that you have from previous situations or scenario that have surfaced in this, which is common in certain connections. It's common in a lot of connections where things that we have been through surface in this space, and we end up kind of overanalyzing it and inadvertently sort of sabotaging something before it even is allowed to take you know, flight. There's a Page of Cups was on the bottom of the deck here. 10 of Coins. And the Lovers. I mean, you could make this up. Y'all, your readings lately have been really interesting. This is the one wild card for me where I didn't have a clue what we were going to talk about in this space. So it's been really interesting. And it's, I mean, now I'm seeing kind of a timeline for y'all, but like when I first started sitting in the group 3 space, I was like, I just felt like this was a wild card for me, and it was like I was like learning the energy with you. So in this, it's like, if you all work through this and you kind of just go through that mountain, this is a really fulfilling space. There is a lot of abundance that can be built in this connection. There's also the lovers here as well coming in, where you can have a union space. You can have that. This doesn't necessarily have to be, you know, I think that we move through many connections with love. So at the very least in this connection, it's an important one, and it is intended for you to learn something, because it is calling you to, especially when you consider that it is calling you to, you know, tackle a mountain. So this is a really important connection in your life. This is something that is a catalyst for your growth in either understanding how to operate outside of this connection, or coming together in this connection and building into a new beginning. Okay. One more message card for you. We're going to use the Starseed Oracle deck. What's the final message card for group 3, please? Yay. I'm gonna have a whale of a good time. Whale and Orca Elders, share your song, frequency of sound, diving deep. Maybe you could connect through some music. I feel like, you know what, I was just talking about this not that long ago, where I was like, man, no one ever made me a playlist. I was never that girl, you know. I think that would be a great thing to do. You know, maybe y'all can just make one another a playlist or something. Music is life, okay? And so if you can connect through music, you know, hey, that could be something, you know. It's like, this song makes me think of you. Or they could be, earlier I was talking about how when my energy is a certain way, I feel like it impacts the music that I'm listening to. It's like I'll put it on play naturally, and if I'm feeling something, I'll be cleaning, and you know, you get into that headspace, right, where you just start, you know, thinking about whatever it is that we think about, and then it's like whatever it is I'm thinking about kind of comes in like energetically into the music that I'm listening to. And I've been really building it into an awareness of this. And I talked in the group 1 space about seeming to begin to understand that energy might have some sort of importance upon algorithms. I don't know, weird thing to dissect, but music seems to be important for some reason. And I've told y'all that whenever I get into your group, music pops up a lot. It's like songs and things like that will come in a lot more in this space than anywhere else. So that could be something that connects you. Okay, group 3, do me a huge favor. If this resonated with you, please leave me a comment down below. That means so much to me. If you're not comfortable doing that, just simply by liking the video, you help the channel tremendously. And if you are new here and you would like to stick around for more readings from me, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for being here, group 3. Enjoy the rest of your day.